They already verified them in a second on the blockchain. That token that we each had that was 100K, they bought it for 500K. What do we make? 200K each divided by 3.
This is the CLIMACO podcast.
Welcome to another episode of the CLIMACO podcast. Today's guest, man, is a crypto genius. And I mean that. He is incredibly smart. Someone that I met recently that I had to have on the podcast, Mike Sotero. What's up, bro?
I appreciate the invitation. We met a few weeks ago at one of those events.
Yes. I was so happy to meet you. I think I connected so deeply with what you were saying. You're a great presenter. You're a great speaker. And you were giving out a lot of really good information that, like, I pulled out my phone and took pictures of the slides, exactly. Because it was such good information. And I'm like, man, I have to have this guy on the podcast to go deeper, go further, share that knowledge.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I got into crypto almost 8 years ago, Q1 of 2017. And like everybody, you start
Was that like the first boom?
Yeah, right before that.
Right before that.
I was coming off the worst year of my life financially. Saw some people on Facebook talking about it in February of 2017. Started getting in like April 2017.
Okay.
And then, December is when Bitcoin goes to 20K, that first run.
Is that normally when it goes up, like at the end of the year, November, December?
Typically. There's like seasonality in trading. Usually Q1 is good, and then usually like November to December is good, or it's really bad, which is what we experienced in the bear market in 2021. So it just depends.
Do you think that was just COVID in 21, or was that actually the market?
So we started the decade off with a crash, right? And if you look at the past like 40 years in history, every decade starts with a very challenging time in human history.
It's true.
You look at the 2000s.
08, 09.
08, 09 kind of goes there. And COVID was the low where Bitcoin went to 4,000. And then that was you could have bought anything and you made money 1 year later. And that was the issue. Everybody made money if they took profit.
Right.
And then we had to have a big correction.
Makes sense. Where are you from, Mike?
I was born here. Half my side is, my family's Cuban. So my grandparents on my dad's side, they escaped, that story. And then my mom's side's American.
Very cool. How did what intrigued you about crypto? What about it made you go all in?
I just saw that monetary systems change, right? The first world reserve currency was not the US dollar. It was actually the Portuguese dollar. And then that changed after empires fall and all that stuff, right? So now it's the dollar.
We had the British pound also for a while.
And these things change.
Yeah.
And we are going into a digital era, digital age where, our phones, people are on their phones like 10 hours a day. Everything is transacting.
That's a problem on its own.
Yeah, we can do a whole podcast on that. And it's just an issue. And everything is like Apple Pay, Touch to Pay.
Yeah.
All that soon is already, you scan the barcode, right? During COVID, it programmed people to go to a restaurant, scan the barcode to see the menu. How come we just don't have another barcode where we want to pay and we don't have to talk to a waiter or waitress?
Wow.
All of that's happening right now. But I went all in because I just knew that if I took a bet on something, this was going to be it.
Okay. I want to provide some level of education today. I want to go into what is crypto, what is blockchain, and what is crypto versus Bitcoin.
Yeah.
So I'll let you pick how you want to tackle that.
So crypto's been around before Bitcoin, right? Cryptography was studied in I think the 80s and 90s, and people were studying this. When Bitcoin came about, it was just the attention, right? You look at Bitcoin, what it is. It's public, it's on a ledger. Every single transaction on the blockchain can be traced. So people will make comments like, hey, Leo, they use they use Bitcoin for money laundering. Well, they also use money for money laundering as well, and you don't know where it came from.
Right.
So in crypto, everything is on the public ledger. You can see every single transaction, every single block from the beginning of time from when the first Bitcoin was mined. Leo, did you know that it was Bitcoin's birthday a few days ago?
I did not.
The 16th birthday for Bitcoin.
Wow, it's almost an adult.
Yeah, it's in the teens right now. It's figuring it out.
Yeah.
And that's just how technology is. It takes time to develop.
Wow.
So crypto's been around for a long time, and then blockchain is just block and chain. It's just a series of blocks that take place. For Bitcoin, every 8 minutes, a new block is created, and you need all these computers, essentially,
Right.
to create and to approve these transactions. And that eventually with Bitcoin will stop in about the year 2140 when there's no more Bitcoin to be created or mined is the correct terminology. So yeah.
Mining is like a game, right? That these computers play, trying to figure out the number.
Yeah, they're solving
to
equations.
solve the equations, right?
And then they get rewarded a certain amount of Bitcoin. Some blocks right now they're rewarding 3.25, but sometimes a miner will get, like I saw one the other day, 80 Bitcoin because he mined a certain block, and there was a lot of transactions. He got 80 Bitcoin, and some of the biggest mining companies. If you're taking notes while you're watching this, you can go look these up. Riot Platforms in the U.S., Marathon Digital Holdings, Clean Spark, Iris Energy. These are all publicly traded companies in the U.S. that are mining crypto.
Wow.
And Mara, they're investing hundreds of millions of dollars right now in Texas, getting more land to mine more Bitcoin.
I heard that the amount of energy that it takes to mine Bitcoin is as much as a country. Is that true?
Yeah.
And how can we deal with that?
So the narrative before was it was bad for the environment.
Yeah.
Now it's coming out that it's actually good for the environment. And it actually can use like positive energy and it could actually help the environment. Like in El Salvador, they're mining Bitcoin through the volcano. Like they're using organic volcano energy to mine Bitcoin as a country.
That's incredible. They're doing incredible things there in El Salvador.
Yeah, for sure.
It's like the safest country in this side of the hemisphere.
100%. And they're using Bitcoin, and they airdropped everybody Bitcoin when they went pro Bitcoin a couple years ago, about 2 years ago. Do you know they buy a Bitcoin every day?
Really?
Every single day they buy one Bitcoin, and they were doing that at 16,000 all the way to today. They're averaged in like at 40, 50K.
What do you mean they airdropped everyone a Bitcoin?
So when the country went pro Bitcoin, they told everybody to download a certain wallet. It was called a Chiba wallet, I believe.
Okay.
And they gave everybody like $80 just to like show people how it would work.
Got it.
And if you held that, you would now have 5 times that number.
Wow.
Because they did it when it was Bitcoin was around 20K.
Right.
Now we're at 100. So they wanted to get people familiar with it. But in Bitcoin, in El Salvador, it's a legal tender. Meaning if this is a restaurant or a storefront, you legally have to accept Bitcoin from me.
Oh, it's in the laws.
Yes, it's in the law. And it'll be in the law here soon in America, where it's a legal tender.
How do you think the new administration is going to deal with crypto?
Yeah, I think a lot of people are about to get exposed. So I think a lot of anti-crypto people are about to get kicked out. Yesterday, his name is Michael Barr. He's on the Federal Reserve Board. He's like the right-hand man to like Jerome Powell.
Okay.
So they work with interest rates.
Got
in
it.
2022, this is a fact, he was caught telling Jamie Dimon of JP Morgan, Wells Fargo, Goldman Sachs, he was telling the banks, do not approve crypto transactions.
Wow.
So you would go to your Chase app and you would try to buy Bitcoin on Coinbase. They would like reject you. Yesterday, he resigned. You have Gary Gensler in the SEC, resigned. Somebody else in the SEC, they resigned. So I think we're going into the most important 4 years in human history with crypto. So I think it's going to be very positive. But I think if you're over optimistic, you're getting in now. And I do expect a very large correction here soon.
How soon?
It depends. So one of the charts I look at is it's called the Bitcoin futures chart.
Okay.
And there's a gap in price at about $77,000 to $80,000 on Bitcoin futures.
Okay.
I do think, and I'm pretty confident, we do go back there. Now the question is, and I'm not a magician, do we go back there now, or do we go 150, 200, and then that's the retracement? So it's tough to take that play, but I'm very positive we will come back to that futures gap.
So you think that the next 4 years is going to completely change the U.S. financial system?
For sure, yeah. I think the Fed, we're going to see what the Fed does. They were extremely talking about cutting rates. Now they're kind of like, we're going to do some pauses in 2025, 2 cuts maybe. So I think that's important. Does Trump want to keep Jerome Powell there? Because Jerome has all the power.
Yeah,
if
literally.
money's cheaper, more money can come in. So that's, I think, really key. That's like a foundational piece. And I think we're going to have 2 bear markets and 2 bull markets in the next 4 years.
2 bear markets and 2 bull
2
markets.
major sell-offs that people don't see coming, and 2 just runs
spikes.
in the next 4 or 5 years.
Man.
I expect a lot of volatility with Trump coming back. And I think he's going to come back more chill, and he's going to position the right people. He's been doing a lot of meetings with Brian Armstrong, CEO of Coinbase.
Yeah.
Brad Garlinghouse has been in definitely some of those meetings. So the guy that's going to replace Michael Barr, who resigned at the Federal Reserve, there's some rumors that it's a pro XRP guy.
Oh, wow.
And that could be
That could be huge. Bye-bye, Swift.
Yes, sir. Very possible. I've been bullish on XRP publicly for the past 7.5 years. It's, a decent one of my holdings.
About to pay off.
Yeah, even at this price, life's good. But I think we could see a $5 to $7 XRP. I'll be scaling out at 5 to 7. You do what you want, not financial advice, of course.
Okay, so let's say you have a total noob watching. Someone who clearly has heard of crypto and Bitcoin, doesn't know what to do. What would you suggest?
Obviously, the magic question is get educated, right? Get some mentors, get in a community, all that. After that, I would say, okay, I would go on a piece of paper and I would write down, number one, expectations. Crypto is like the stock market in the 2000s, but instead of it taking 40, 50 years, 30 years to develop, it's going to happen so much faster. And the expectation is important, Leo, because people get into this thing and let's say they bought yesterday.
Right.
Market's down right now like 15% today. Now they're panicking. You see 15% drop in your stock account, you think the world's about to end.
Yeah.
But in crypto, it's like a normal day. It's okay, buy the dip. So expectations is one. Two, you got to have a long-term plan. I treat crypto, and I teach all my students, treat crypto like the stock market, where it's 5, 10, 20, 30, 40 years out.
Right.
And you're going to outperform everything. Bitcoin has outperformed every single financial market in the past 16 years.
Yeah.
And there's nothing anybody can say.
It's had the longest run, right?
Yeah. It outperformed S&P last year. Every single year, it's outperforming it.
That's crazy.
So understanding growth, and it's exponentially, it's different, it's adoption, and it's still early, as crazy as it sounds.
Is it the new gold?
Yeah, it's digital gold. It's capped. It has a fixed supply, 21 million. It's going to take another 100 years to come into place. And then you have, outside of Bitcoin, all the altcoin ecosystem that real world companies are using. And banks are investing in it. You saw it from Grayscale. Grayscale publicly, because they're a publicly traded company, they release all of the new coins that they're putting their attention on. So all these altcoin lists they add to their baskets, these ETFs, those are the ones you want to be paying attention to. So you have Bitcoin, gold, Ethereum's more like oil, right? That's the term we say. Because you can build on Ethereum. And then I think Solana has the potential maybe one day to surpass Ethereum. But Ethereum is the government's choice. USDC is built on Ethereum for a reason.
Why?
Because the company called Circle, okay, they created USDC. When you look at who invested in Circle, JP Morgan, all the banks, and then in 2023, Circle gave equity to a company called Coinbase. They're all in it together.
They're all in bed together.
They're all in bed together. And when you go back and you look at all the money that came to fund Circle, and now Circle has USDC on Solana and other networks. They launched the Euro stable coin. So Circle is a powerhouse. But that's also why I'm extremely bullish on Coinbase, because Coinbase has equity of Circle. So Coinbase is taking some of that revenue from Circle. It's adding to their balance sheet. And that's why we called out Coinbase sub $60. Now it's at 300.
Isn't this centralizing a decentralized system?
For sure. Nothing's ever going to be fully decentralized. I'm sorry to break it to you. There's going to be levels of decentralization. You got to take what you can. Bitcoin is the most decentralized blockchain. Everybody can agree with that. But then after that, it just depends. We'll never have it. But you're seeing people do bad things with Bitcoin, and the FBI is knocking on their door. So if you're a bad person, I think you should get caught. But if you're doing things the right way, I think you'll be fine. A couple of days ago, IRS says, hey, we don't want to see the reports until 2026. So they were going to make all of the exchanges basically report, hey, how much crypto have you bought? What's the profits and balances in your account? They actually pushed it back a year. Why would they do that? To get clarity with this new administration, kind of going back to that.
Got it.
So that's actually a very bullish sign. And if Trump says, hey, no capital gains on all of crypto or even US crypto, America is going to thrive in the next 5-6 years.
Paint me a picture. How do you see America in 5 years if all that occurs?
Oh man, I think it's the Dubai of the West. You know, people on that side of the world, they're going to Dubai. All my friends in Europe, they've all fled to Dubai for tax reasons. If the US and Trump does that, I think people are going to want to come here. They're going to want to build here. They're going to want to invest here. If there's pro real estate somehow in that situation with crypto,
Right.
that's a whole separate conversation we can get into if you want, where transactions are happening every day in Bitcoin in Miami. People are buying property. But the tax laws, if it's pro crypto, people would want to stay. And people will want to invest in all of those blockchains. That's going to create more jobs, and it's going to create more entrepreneurs to want to move to the US. And we live in, Florida, South Florida.
Yeah.
Miami's going to just get more overpacked. So maybe don't come here. Go to like California. It's a great place. Go to Cali.
Just to go a little bit deeper, I want to see if I understand
Yep.
exactly what you're saying. So you're saying that the dollar would become digital, right?
Not necessarily. I think the dollar is going to stay the dollar.
Okay.
I do not believe the dollar is crashing.
Okay.
I don't believe that at all. If the dollar crashes, crypto is going to crash. Why? Because what backs up the stable coins? The dollar.
Dollar.
You have a stable coin market that crashes, we're all in trouble.
Got it.
So the dollar is going to do well. I think the dollar does pull back in value. Our buying power is worth nothing.
Yeah.
That's why everything goes up. You look at 1940 to today, after the Great Depression, dollar is worth absolutely nothing because we keep printing
Money.
more.
Yeah.
Past 10 years, half of the dollar has been printed. Half the US dollar in the supply right now has been printed in the past 10 years.
That's so crazy.
So they're devaluing the dollar. Everything's going up in price. The only way to win this game of money in the next 5 years, is what you asked, is to be an investor. It's to invest your time and definitely your money in digital assets. It's going to outpace everything, but you have to be willing to hold.
Give me your top 5 cryptos outside Bitcoin to invest.
At the current price, they're just overall.
Overall.
Overall? Okay.
Yeah. A long term.
Yeah, I would say Solana. I was extremely bullish on Solana, sub $20. When you see things that are suppressed or talked really negatively about, Solana was beaten down with the FTX stuff. It was the best buying opportunity at $8, $10, $12, $20. So I'd say Sol, I would say Ethereum, Chainlink, I think is something that people don't understand.
Underrated.
If you don't have Chainlink in your portfolio, I don't know. Do your research.
Yeah. They connect everything.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right now, I just saw something that came to my phone that they just partnered with the stablecoin, RLUSD, Ripple stablecoin, and they're working with them. They work with everybody. And they also work with Web 2 companies. So Sol, ETH, Chainlink, obviously XRP. You either love XRP if you're in crypto,
Or you hate it.
or you hate it.
Yeah.
Right? There's no middle ground. But if you hate XRP, you have XLM, which is the decentralized version of XRP, which is the rumor maybe XLM is involved with X payments. You see that? X is going to do some crypto stuff. Maybe XLM is involved there. And then a fifth one. Man, there's so many good ones. It's a sleeper. I used to hate it. I think Avalanche is going to do something in this next run.
What is Avalanche?
Avalanche, a lot of games are built on it. It's a layer 1 blockchain.
Okay.
And the reason is it JB Diamond? JP Morgan partnered with them years ago when they were talking bad about crypto. And they ran a project called, I think it's called Onyx. And they building it on Avalanche. Not a lot of people, go Google this, JP Morgan, Onyx, Avalanche. Go research that project they're doing. So I think they're going to pump Avalanche.
So they talked shit about it.
Of course.
Then they build on it.
Always. That's it. They reject it, and then they accept it.
Are they trying to keep others away?
Of course. That's how they do it. How do they do it? They do it through media. But look at the flip. Look at the switch that's been flipped recently.
So crazy.
Elon buys Twitter. Zuckerberg puts out a video. Did you see that video today?
I saw.
Oh, my God.
That was so
He
incredible.
brings in Dana on the board of directors.
Why would I don't quite understand that move. It's very interesting. I like it.
Yeah.
But I don't quite understand it.
I think he wants to have somebody that's cutthroat.
Tough.
Dana speaks out publicly about, hey, you can't do this.
I think it's more the Trump connection.
For sure. Yeah.
Dana and Trump are...
Zuckerberg just met with Trump a few months ago at Mar-a-Lago.
Yeah.
So Trump's like, hey, bring in Dana, get people to trust your platform again, because Facebook's kind of gone down.
Yeah.
And the algorithm we know is just, it's terrible right now.
Yeah.
Reels is the only way to grow your Instagram at this point. So maybe they do something there. Credibility. He just got some credibility again.
I feel like Zuck went to jiu-jitsu and grew a pair of balls.
Hey.
He
looks
became
younger,
a whole new guy after he started fighting.
Yeah. And he realized what happened in 2020, man.
Yeah.
Like this.
He
stuff.
got screwed.
Yeah. And you could even argue that Trump won in 2016 because of Facebook.
Oh,
Remember
for
those
sure.
Facebook
Yes.
Lives of the rallies?
Yes.
It was crazy to watch.
He was everywhere.
And then there was none of that in 2020. There was none of it. It was all suppressed. So.
Man, I think Meta really took a really high position today.
Yeah. And you saw Elon tweeted at Zuckerberg saying, good job. If they're working together, it's not even about like left and right politics.
Right.
None of that matters.
It's different platforms
Yeah.
also.
Exactly.
They should be working together.
I agree. And it should be let people say what they want as long as they're not hurting anybody,
Right.
damaging, defamation, any of that stuff.
Right. I
There's a
agree
line.
with the idea. Let people report.
Exactly. The
You know,
media.
people will vote it
we're
out.
The media.
Yes.
If something happens on the side of the street right here and you can get a video of it, that's evidence to get the bad guy that maybe
Right.
did something.
Right.
But all this stuff has been suppressed, and I don't know. I hope it works out for the media, but people got to take ownership of their finances in the next 4 or 5 years because this is the window, and a lot of people are about to miss this window.
What is your favorite wallet? And I mean, I think it's called Cold Wallet.
Yeah. So you have centralized exchanges. This is really important for your audience. You don't leave money on exchanges because they own the seed phrase. They own the keys.
Right.
Not your keys, not your crypto, right? Coinbase, Binance, whatever. They could all disappear.
I should be a shirt, not your keys, not your crypto.
Probably. We might want to make one together. Yeah, we might make one. So centralized exchanges, you used to buy on board, immediately move it over to either a hot wallet or cold storage. So hot wallets are like MetaMask, Phantom, all those.
Got
Then
it.
cold storage is like a ledger.
Okay.
Do not buy it at Best Buy. Do not buy it on Amazon because people get them, unbox it, get the words, put it back.
What?
And now, the second you upload your crypto, oh yeah, I have your words. Oh, you start adding money, I take all your crypto. Seen it happen hundreds of times.
People are so fucking creative.
Yeah.
For the wrong reasons,
Yeah.
but so fucking creative.
Scammers scam, man, and that's what they do.
Wow.
Yep,
They buy your ledger, take your keys,
Oh, yeah.
return it, and then rob you.
for sure.
Bro, that requires so much patience.
Yeah. And they do it with people that have no idea.
That's insane.
So ledger.com, I have no affiliation with them. Nobody does.
Now you should.
Yeah. I've probably sold a lot of ledgers in my
Yes.
lifetime. And a Nano X is good because it has the Bluetooth. There's other ones, they're like $100.
Yeah.
So I tell people if you have more than $100 of crypto, get a ledger. And stop being cheap. Man, I've seen people come to me with 30, 40K in their FTX account back in the day when FTX
Wow.
crashed. And I felt so bad, but I told them, get your money at FTX. And FTX just started repaying people, I think this week, but they're paying them at the prices that the market was at in 2022.
Wow.
So Bitcoin was 16K. If you had one Bitcoin, they're not giving you a Bitcoin, Leo. They're giving you 16K.
Wow.
Is that a scam? I don't know.
What happened there?
They were trading customers' funds. There was a lot of political stuff there as well. They were donating a lot of money to the Democratic Party. But beside the political stuff, they were trading people's money. And Sam Bankman-Fried, he had a company called Alameda Research. I went down this rabbit hole for like a month. He had a company called Alameda Research that was early investing in every single Solana ecosystem project.
Wow.
So Alameda helped jumpstart all of Solana's ecosystem. They had a lot of tokens, but they were just irresponsible. They lost a lot of money. The truth came out. People started selling their FTT token, and then government stepped in, shut them down.
Do you think that it was a scam from the start, or they had good intentions, mismanagement, created the whole snowball effect, and they got to where they were?
I think it was from the start, man.
You think it was scam from the
You
start?
go up the tree and look at Sam's parents. Was it Sam's dad? I think it was his dad that was a professor at MIT. Do you know who his boss was?
No.
Gary Gensler.
Really?
At the SEC, yeah. His mom, questionable things about his mom as well. So go down that rabbit hole. His girlfriend, Caroline, there's some questionable things about her family involved in politics side of things. So might have been,
That's crazy.
but I don't think it was good intentions. They were buying real estate. I was in Nassau, Bahamas when FTX got shut down. Sam was living in Nassau, Bahamas. I saw the raid. I saw the police outside of his building. I took an Uber to that area, super nice area in Nassau, and it was just like they wouldn't let anybody through. And they
That's
had a
crazy.
deal with the Bahamian banks, and it goes deep.
Paying everybody off.
Oh, buddy, yeah. They were paying everybody. They were paying the bank, people that at the banks in the Bahamas
Wow.
to get money out. They were doing withdrawals when they shouldn't have been because they were getting shut down after the shutdown happened. A lot of sketchy stuff with that. But it brought Bitcoin down. It created so much fear.
Yeah.
And that's the best time you buy. 2022.
Where'd you get that outlook from?
Which outlook?
Of not panicking, knowing that it's a dip,
Yeah.
and knowing to buy.
Well, what's the worst thing that can happen?
You lose all your money?
Lose all my money.
Yeah.
I made it once, I can make it again. You know, if my portfolio went to zero today, I would still be able to survive. I think if you're over leveraged, you make like really bad, irresponsible decisions. And I always tell people, have cash flow, have a business, have a job, right? Have something where
Right.
worst case scenario always. But I've just went through some stuff right in my life. 2016, I made $2,000 as a entrepreneur, had identity crisis after making some good money before I was 21. And then it just went downhill. And I'm just like, I'm going to be responsible. I'm going to dollar cost average into crypto when I made the decision in 2018. After like a year, I was like, this is the place I want to be. And I want to be a pioneer in this place. So I created like courses and books and gave all that stuff away for free. All that stuff's for free on my site. And just be a voice in this space. And crypto, I knew crypto was going to outperform everything. And it's just a matter of time before we are not just right, but we are extremely right.
How did you know? What gave you that confidence? What gave you that belief?
The attack. In 2017, when I was in Ecuador, I was about to get on stage to speak at an event in Quito. And JP Morgan comes out that same day. Bitcoin is at 18,000. It's a scam. I watched Bitcoin on the chart before I spoke at the event. I think it was like at 16 or 17. It was on its way down. It dropped like to 8 or like it dropped like $8,000 in a couple days. And I was just like, if they're attacking it, they're attacking it for a reason. I was blessed and privileged to be mentored by people like Bob Proctor when I was 18, 19, 20 years old.
That's awesome.
I had some close proximity with him. And he talked about this stability of when something's rejected, right? You have the ability to reject or accept anything.
Yes.
And when I saw heavy rejection on crypto, I was like, oh, snap. They're doing this on purpose. They're
Something clicked
manipulating
for you.
it. Yeah, that clicked. I don't know why, but it just did. And in 2020, during COVID, everybody was at home. The whole decade thing, I kind of understood, like crashes happen.
Yeah.
And then 2022 was like FTX. Dude, they changed the definition of a recession in 2022. And then you had banks failing, Silicon Valley Bank, First Republic Bank. It was just like the end of the world.
That's crazy.
2 times in 2 years. So we took the risk.
They changed the definition of a recession.
Yeah, it was like back-to-back quarters of negative GDP growth.
I forgot about that.
They changed that. Think about that. Why are they doing all these things? To keep you believing. And how many people have been calling for a recession for a long time?
A lot.
Not happening. Not happening. S&P keeps going higher. More money keeps going in the market. And if they go and lower rates a little bit lower, I think we're going to see more money printed. Global liquidity index is extremely high right now, about over $100 trillion. What is it? China right now is on the verge of doing a stimulus, printing trillions of dollars, giving it to people in China. And China didn't participate in the last bull market.
Why not?
China has crypto banned because they're buying, the government most likely probably, but now their retail, so their people in China are going to be able to get involved here soon. They're going to unban crypto soon.
They get the power, wanted it all to themselves first.
Of course.
Now they're going to share it with
Look
the
at
people.
Russia. Russia did the same thing. They banned it, but they're also they're holding like 12% of all the crypto in the world.
These fucking hypocrites.
It's a crazy game, man. It's a crazy game. And you got to be able to see through it.
Yeah.
You got to be able to think for yourself as a man or as a woman and say, okay, I see through this. Let me get educated. Let me learn about it. What's the worst thing that can happen? You're investing, so you know the risk. It doesn't have to be like your whole life. And I'm on the charts maybe like 30 minutes to an hour a day. I'm not staring at this stuff all day. But when there's massive sell-offs, are you prepared?
So for the average person, would you say that what's it called? A cost-based
Dollar cost average?
dollar cost average.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's the best way to invest.
For sure. Easily. But here's the myth. If you're going to treat Bitcoin like a savings account, you can buy Bitcoin, every week and just play the long-term game.
Right.
You can do that. Everything else, if you're dollar cost averaging, you need to be in the zone, right? So let's say I'm buying Ethereum, but I'm only buying Ethereum if it's between $1,000 and $2,000.
Okay.
The second it breaks 2,000, I'm going to look at the rest of the market. I'm going to say, okay, Ethereum's gone. What's going to follow? Okay, Chainlink. I'm going to DCA now Chainlink. Instead of ETH, I'm going to DCA Chainlink if it's between 5 to 10.
Got it.
And you go from main, mid to low.
So you have to really understand what these companies are,
Yeah.
what they're about, what they're doing within the crypto space, how they fit into the whole puzzle piece.
Sure. You have to understand that it's ETH and then DeFi, and there's different categories.
Right.
And you don't want to have a portfolio that's only low cap coins. It's like really risky.
Right.
So you got to have the structure correct. And yes, treat them like a company. Chainlink is a company. Solana is a company. They have CEOs, they have board of directors, they go speak at these events, they're launching new products. And if you saw, this is a side note, NVIDIA just did a new launch of that new chip.
I saw.
And they did a roadmap of all the different levels of AI. Pay attention because all those levels are already being built in crypto right now. AI is already a big thing in crypto. It's about to get 20 times bigger. AI agents, all that stuff.
Tell me how. How does AI merge with crypto?
Man,
What does that look like?
Yeah, it's a lot of different ways. I saw a project a couple days ago where it's like you download it to your computer. You're not touching your computer. You're like, hey, AI, whatever, just call it that name for this example. Take a trade for me on Coinbase at $4 on this coin. Get out at this coin, and it does all the work for you.
Talking about Do Browser?
No, not Dubrow, different project. So you have it for different reasons though. Like we have these like Alexa things in like our houses or whatever.
Yeah.
All of that, but with crypto. And they're gonna solve different problems.
Yeah.
Problems like with money, with banks, with speed, with deliverability, even like things like Uber Eats. Like all of that can be done with AI. The whole process of you ordering and where it's coming from and all that stuff.
Tell me why the blockchain is better.
Transparency. Simple. Transparency and integrity. You can see everything publicly. And it can't be shut down. We just had a Christmas. We just had rest in peace, Jimmy Carter, he passed away at 100 years old. They shut down the stock market for him one of those days, I think last Thursday. Crypto's 24/7. Can't shut down crypto. Bitcoin actually makes some of the biggest moves on holidays when the market shut down. Yeah.
Do you think the market will follow suit one day?
What do you mean?
Be open 24/7.
Oof, that's a good question. I think stocks are going to be tokenized through crypto, basically through real world assets. Projects like Ondo, who are working directly with BlackRock. I think stocks go 24/5, 24 hours a day, 5 days a week.
Okay.
I think that happens in the next year to 2 years with stocks.
Wow.
I think real estate is tokenized here very soon. Whoever figures it out, whoever does it, this is a piece of, whether it's commercial or it's like apartment buildings or one single house, that's going to be tokenized.
How do you tokenize real estate?
Really simple. Let's say we're going to go buy a house. There's 3 of us.
Right.
Let's say the house costs $300,000, just easy
Okay.
math.
Yeah.
We each put in $100K. We each get one token, right, representing our $100K, that equity
our
of the house.
shares.
Our share. Yeah, it's in the blockchain. So if something happens, it can be verified there. It's like an NFT, essentially. This is where NFTs come in. We each have it. Let's say the house goes up to $500K, we sell. You don't need all the middle people for that transaction to sell. Somebody comes in, a third party, a fourth person, they go, wow, I like that property on, let's say it's on Zillow, just an example.
Right.
They connect their wallet. Zillow did the background check. They see the funds in their wallet. They already verified them in a second on the blockchain. That token that we each had that was $100K, they bought it for $500K. What do we make? $200K each divided by 3. That money we get back plus the profits, it's already in our wallet. And it all
gets split.
Split automatically on a smart contract.
Got it.
Which is
on ETH.
It could be on ETH or any smart contract. It could be on Solana, any of those platforms. All those blockchains have smart contracts. And in a second,
wow.
We already
so bye brokers.
Yeah, brokers, the middle people, closing,
wholesalers.
All that is gone. Think about all of that. Not sketchy business, but all of that is gone.
I get it.
You don't need those people. And there's already companies already doing this. I'm not affiliated with Real Open. I think it's realopen.com. They're already listing properties in Bitcoin every day.
That is going to blow up in the next 4 to 5 years.
Tokenize real estate. Yep. Now think of it at a higher level, commercial building, an apartment building. There's 100 apartments. There's 10 investors, or it's a fund coming in and buying, like all the allocation. Think about the monthly rents, right? If we all own the building, all of that can be tokenized. And let's say you're a tenant, right? Let's say you own the apartment.
Right.
Why can't I just put some crypto in my wallet every month and it just get taken out? Well, I got to deal with the bank and the bank transactions, the bank fees, and worry if I don't have the money in the account. You can do all of that in blockchain. Faster, more efficient.
I don't see banks going anywhere. How do banks adapt this into their ecosystem?
Yeah, so they're already doing it. They're doing it through different ways. They went with the ETFs.
Right.
So now they're raising capital.
Yeah.
Bitcoin's ETF is the fastest ETF in history. Took gold 20 years to do what Bitcoin did in less than a year.
Wow.
People aren't even paying attention to that. Then you have Ethereum doing very well. Solana and Ripple, I believe, are next. We have a Solana date on today's the 7th. In 2 weeks, Solana has its first filing date of expiration that could get approved before the 23rd of January. So they're going to make a ton of money there, tons of money for their customers. Also, they're helping build blockchains. JP Morgan is involved with Avalanche. There's a lot of ties there. So they're going to come in, and I think the next level is lending and borrowing. Just like you do with money at your bank, I think the banks, I've been saying this for years, will say, hey, Leo, come in to Chase and put your Bitcoin here. We'll give you 15%. And you're like, wow. They're going to go make 100 times.
Of course.
That. But they're going to want to hold our crypto. I'm really, really positive.
Be the wallet.
Exactly. And we're going to custody it for you. That's what they're going to say. If something happens.
Right, they'll insure it.
Hey, Leo, you're not smart enough to hold your private keys, your seed phrase. We'll hold it for you. And we'll give you this percentage. And that's where, if you saw.
A lot of people are going to do it.
1,000,000%. Retail is going to go flood and do that.
It's going to go crazy.
100%.
Wow. What a vision of a world that's like so beyond what it is right now.
And dude, it's already done. Like all of this is done. It's just when do they flip the switch? When do they just make this public? I think it's all built already.
What's been holding that back from that switch being flipped?
Adoption, clear regulation. The banks need to know what they're going to pay in taxes. Like people need to know that as well. We don't know any of that, to be honest with you. So I think just the clarity on the regulation side, and then is this country a pro-crypto country? We don't really know. Like you can say, yeah, Biden was president 2020.
Right.
Bitcoin went to 4K. Now it's 100K. Is that because of Biden? No, it's not because of any president.
Right.
But something to study, if you're listening to this, is go study what happens to the dollar between a Republican president and a Democratic president. Have you ever seen that chart?
No.
Past 80 years, you can look at a Democratic presidency and you can see the dollar goes crazy up.
Really?
Dollars going up, what happens to other assets? They drop.
Yeah.
When a Republican president is in office, dollar goes down because they want other assets to do well.
Interesting.
Go back and look since Ronald Reagan. You can see every 4 years, based on the presidency,
it flip-flops.
Doesn't matter who it is.
Right.
That's how it is. Biden comes in, the dollar's at a low. Dollar goes crazy. Bitcoin goes crazy with it.
Yeah.
2021, what do? Start raising our rates. Everything drops. We have that extremely bear market. So that's two things I would understand. We're in a pause, cutting environment now, but we could get back to a raising rates environment, and you got to be prepared to take some profits here. But I think that's going to happen end of the decade. I think we have a window here.
How do you take profits?
So for crypto, I would go into stable coins. And I would play that game. Stablecoins. You swap. You can swap in your ledger. A lot of people don't know this. You can swap directly in your ledger. Or you can send it to your exchange and go back into dollars and go to your bank account.
Meaning that you can make the exchange directly from your hot wallet.
Yeah. So in your hot wallet or just your ledger. So inside of Ledger, people don't know this. Ledger partners with different companies in Ledger. So they use an exchange in Ledger called Changelly. So let's say I have Bitcoin and I want to go to USDC.
Okay.
Inside of my ledger, I don't have to go to an exchange. I can literally do it on my phone. I can swap, and it'll say it's using Changelly. So it'll send my Bitcoin, and then they'll give me the USDC. It'll take a few minutes. So they'll send the Bitcoin to Changelly. Changelly will send me my USDC.
Got it.
Never having to go back to an exchange or anything like that.
Is there a fee for that exchange?
Small fees, yeah.
Is that exchange taxable?
Nobody knows.
Nobody knows.
I don't know. Nobody knows. Yeah, nobody knows. And it's USDC. It's not dollars.
Right.
So I'm still in crypto. Technically, yes, but it's still a gray area.
I'm just wondering if that link between USDC and the dollar will ever actually be made.
Yeah, well, the USDC, like I said before, if the dollar crashes, USDC is in trouble because it's backed by US Treasuries and dollars. But USDC could be that CBDC currency.
Right.
So, because remember, they just made Tether delist. Tether is the biggest stablecoin, and Coinbase is basically kicking out Tether, and so is Binance. And Binance just partnered with USDC, which is crazy. After,
Because Tether was more of a scam, right? Wasn't it? It was
not a
iffy.
scam. Yeah, it's iffy. They're the biggest but most of their volume is in Asia. Like in Asia, like Tether is like the biggest thing there. It's 80% of Tether's volumes in Asia. But yeah, they were supposedly like buying real estate with their funds, and they didn't have all the money in the reserves. But Tether just bought 8,000 Bitcoin the other day to put it in their reserves. So I think people are scared of Tether, and it creates that fear, and then price keeps going higher. So I don't think Tether is going to go anywhere. But the U.S. government, they want USDC to be it, which
makes sense.
Completely makes sense.
Yeah, makes sense. I think Coinbase has a monopoly in the U.S.,
sure.
right?
Yeah. They kicked out Binance US.
Yeah.
Binance is not allowed in the US. The only other one, small competition, is Kraken. But no, Coinbase is running the show.
Kraken is owned by the twin brothers, right?
No, that's Gemini. Kraken's owned by a guy named Jesse. But Kraken's still in the U.S. But yeah, Coinbase is going to run the show. And their stocks, not financial advice, is probably going to do well because of the equity of Circle. And yeah.
Do you think that's right?
Doesn't matter, Just got to make money from it,
If you don't use Coinbase and you don't use Kraken, you can't buy crypto in the U.S.
You have Gemini. Yeah, they won't make it like it's only us, because then that would be very evident.
Right.
But I think we're going to actually see more exchanges pop up. But Coinbase is going to be the godfather, in America at least, and probably in North America. And they're getting their feet wet in Europe and in other countries. So
they feel very Chase to me.
Yeah.
Very Chase Bank a little bit.
Yeah. Oh, for sure, dude, 100%. Yeah, I think a lot of that early money came from JP. So makes sense. It's not a bad thing. Like, seeing what happened to FTX actually sucks, because like Shaquille O'Neal had his money in FTX. Tom Brady had money in FTX, right?
Right.
So that just looks really bad. But for the buying of opportunity, it was great. But then it gets people scared, and then they don't buy crypto, and then they never come into the space. So we want retail to participate. We want, because that's just going to help. But at this point, it kind of doesn't matter if retail gets in. It's a bank's game. I've been saying this for years. Eventually, they're going to have so much money in the ETFs that they can manipulate the price of Bitcoin, and they will. They'll send Bitcoin to 200, 300, 400K. And remember, if let's say they have 5% of the supply.
Wait, hold on. Break that down, please.
Okay. So a Bitcoin ETF, a Bitcoin spot ETF, they have to have the underlying asset. So let's just say there's $100 billion in a spot Bitcoin ETF. Let's say it's in Grayscale or BlackRock. They have to have $100 billion that they basically buy on the back door. And in the back door, do you know where they hold that? They hold it in Coinbase. All of the ETFs pretty much are using Coinbase to hold their crypto.
Okay.
Another reason why Coinbase is going to go higher. Now, what if they get to $1 trillion, $2 trillion, $5 trillion of ETF money in these spot Bitcoin ETFs? That means that there's $5 to $10 trillion in Bitcoin, in the market cap of Bitcoin.
And they're holding like 50% a large. I get it.
I think is the game that they're going to play, but I think Bitcoin would have to be like 500K to $1 million, which it will be one day, and it's going to be a bank's game. And the average fish is like, I can't afford this. And that's where the language of like, how many Bitcoin do you have? It's done. How much Satoshis do you have? Which is like the decimals. It's a crazy game, but we're going to see it in our lifetime.
So you're saying that in a good, probably 5 to 10 years, if you have one Bitcoin, holy shit.
I think Bitcoin will be at $1 million in the next, I'm gonna under promise, I think the next 15 years. That's a 10x from now. That's 15 years is
probably less than that.
I think a lot less than that.
Yeah.
But to be safe, and let's say it was 15 years. I know some kids that are 19.
Flies by.
I know a kid that's 19, he has 2 Bitcoin. Imagine, let's say it takes 15 years, he's 35, and he has 2 Bitcoin. It's worth $2 million. You make a couple smart plays and you're worth 10 million by the time you're 40, 50 years old.
Yeah.
So obviously accumulate as much Bitcoin as you can.
It's crazy.
Use altcoins to get more Bitcoin.
Going back to the banks manipulating.
Yep.
At that point, did it defeat the purpose?
No.
Did we just go in circles back to a system where they're controlling?
Well, it would be like bank versus bank almost in a way. We're going to see more banks because right now it's really like a U.S. bank thing. Okay. There's a company in Japan, MetaPlanet. They're like MicroStrategy in the U.S.
Got it.
Right? They're like
Yes.
buying Bitcoin every day too. They have like 1,800 Bitcoin. So I think
That man eats, shits, breathes Bitcoin. Michael Saylor, yeah.
He just had like a Bitcoin party and stuff recently. And he just said something yesterday, like when he dies, his seed phrase is burned, like it's deleted. So that Bitcoin's never going to get sold. And if it does get sold, that's right now one of the fearful things in crypto. What if Saylor, like what if MicroStrategy has some issues because he keeps taking out equity against this company and stocks and the shares and stuff. So that's like a little of a narrative that could
because he owns so much of it, right?
Because he owns so much and he keeps like leveraging his company. So like there's a rumor of like MicroStrategy, but I don't think it's going to happen. I think it's just fear. So yeah, what was the question on that?
I think you answered it.
Yeah, I went off I can go off the deep
okay.
end. yeah, I can go off the deep end on that.
I'm stuck on him being that powerful.
Yeah, well,
and having that much control.
He's racing the banks. Between BlackRock and him, I think they have like 4% of the supply.
That much.
You have like millions of Bitcoin that remember people lost it. They lost the keys.
Yeah.
Some of the millions of Bitcoin will never even be found. 2-3 million are lost.
I don't think forever. I think quantum computing might have something to do. Might have a say.
That's another thing that people are saying.
Yeah.
Bitcoin be hackable.
Yeah.
And
we're getting there.
Yeah,
where all these technologies are going to merge.
yeah, that's why you take profit. You never know.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's why you don't just hold everything. Like that's
Right.
just stupid. Yeah, a couple good bull markets with the right amount of capital, your life can definitely change. But you got to know what you're doing, and you can't listen to like social media. Social media told us 2 years ago to sell everything at the lows.
Speaking of that, let's go into meme coins.
Yeah, we can.
Speaking of social media
Yeah.
and not
Man.
listening to what they say.
Yeah.
What is your opinion on meme coins? How do you navigate that crazy ass world? And is it even a good idea to try?
If you want to try it, go ahead. I would do it with funds that you just don't really care about.
Right.
But I would say it's penny stock similarity. It's 2017 ICO crypto similarity. I don't do it because it's just, I feel like it's just gambling.
Yeah.
And you can take that same $100, right, that you're going to just invest and buy half a Solana and sit on that for the next 10 years. So I would say it's up to you. I know people that have made millions of dollars from it. 1 out of 10 million.
Right.
Right. And it's just that game, but
They understood the culture,
Yeah.
the coin, why it was created.
Yeah. Things happen and then they just follow that train, that narrative real quick. And if
Right.
you're on it, yeah, you can make some money. It's funny because all of that is built on Solana, so it's just pumping Solana's
Really?
volume. Yeah, all of that. Solana right now is doing more volume than Ethereum and Base combined. It's doing the most volume as a blockchain because all the pumps and all that stuff is on there through Pump Fund. I just avoid it. A lot of the times, people launch a meme coin, one person's holding 80% of the tokens.
Right.
It goes up a little bit, and then they sell on you. So for the first, and I said this at the event, the first exposure in crypto, I don't like it for it to be meme coins for people.
Yeah.
They just get the wrong idea. And then they blame, oh, it's crypto. It's Bitcoin's fault. Like Bitcoin's down today, right? It's down like 5K. The meme coins are bleeding. They're got to be down probably 80, 90%. They're bleeding because people panic. Just how it is.
What do you think is going to happen to the Haktua girl?
I don't know. Well, there's a lot of celebrities that have done that.
Yeah.
I got a list of them, right? That rugged people.
What's his name? Logan Paul.
Yeah, all of them, bro.
He had
Derulo. I mean,
yeah,
everybody.
yeah.
They all did it. And when you see things like that, that is a sign to start to get out of the market. Now, the Haktua girl just launched it like randomly. Like, there's not a lot of celebrities doing it now. I don't even consider her a celebrity.
Yeah.
She's
She's kind of like a meme.
yeah.
You know, that went really viral.
You know, she looks like a meme coin. But the point is honestly, I don't think anything happens to her. if she gets to like some lawyers and she knows that I don't think anything happens. Because you just play the case, their risk, they knew the risk, it's a crypto, they just play that game in court, and I think nothing happens. She's not paying back people, and she probably already lost the money. I don't think anything happens.
What happens in the year 2100? 2140, when Bitcoin is no longer mineable? Is that the correct term? What happens then?
So all the 21 million Bitcoin are in circulation.
Okay.
So miners are out of business.
Yes.
Okay. But they should be super, super rich already. And something that you're going to see is they're going to start to mine. You're going to see, it's called proof of work, right? That's the mining process.
Yes.
You're going to see proof of work, a narrative, start to come about in the next probably 10, 20 years. They're already starting to mine. The companies that are mining Bitcoin now, they're mining projects like Kaspa, KAS. Go do your research on that. So I think 21 million are in the world. Bitcoin is worth millions and millions of dollars per coin. And we're talking, they're talking, hopefully we're here, right? They're talking the Satoshi language. 0.0001 Bitcoin could be 100K or 50K or 10K or whatever.
Wow.
And it's like, imagine the dollar. Like, imagine you had some money and you knew, like, this is worth a lot. Like, this little bit of money, it looks little, is worth so much.
Yeah.
And I think that's the game. It's 21 million.
Is there enough Satoshis for everyone to play in this game?
Yeah, it goes like hundreds of decimals.
Okay.
10, it goes like 10 or 20 decimals over.
Okay. So everyone can play this game.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
There's enough coins.
100%.
Because I've heard that before. People are scared. Oh, this is gonna end. And you can't buy your own coin. And
no, so exchanges will be probably dry. Exchanges will be dry, or they'll be willing to pay such a premium price that they resell it. Right? That's what they do. That's how exchanges make money, is through fees and stuff. There's a thing called spread. Sometimes you'll see a Bitcoin being sold on Coinbase for 100K, and then on Binance for 100K, 100K, and $200. That $200 spread, right? So arbitrage trading is what they call that. That'll be probably very, very high. And I think it'll be like, you'll go to a party and be like, yo, you have some Bitcoin? Can I buy some off you right now? It'll be like people are searching for it. Supply and demand will be so high at that point. So that's a crazy thing to think about 100 years from now, basically.
That's crazy. Where do you see yourself in 5 to 10 years within this space? What do you want to do with it? Where do you want to grow within it?
Yeah, I want to keep educating. I've taught a couple 100,000 people. Last year I spoke on stages.
That's incredible.
All around the world, man. Just educating, teaching in 21 countries last year. So kind of being a pioneer in that way. Being a voice, but definitely where I'm focusing right now is looking at the real estate plays. A lot of my friends are going to do very well in this bull run, coming together. How can we take this, go straight? That's why the regulation is so important here, how taxes are going to work.
Right.
Because if we can go from crypto to real estate with no taxes, it's going to be a game. And if the real estate is tokenized, we don't got to hold for 20, 30 years. We can go new construction, build some stuff, sell some stuff, have it tokenized, and borrow against it and all that.
It's a whole new game.
Yeah. So I want to be in that. I want to be in real estate with tokenization. And I want to bring people together. And, same deals that people are doing traditionally.
Yeah.
Why not in crypto? And then doing it and selling it in different cryptos. Let's say you sell a house right now and you take the house payment in Solana. Solana's at 200. I think Solana will go to 1,000 to 2,000 in the next 10 years. We sell a house right now for $1 million. Okay, we get it in Solana. Today's current price, $200 Solana. Well, we sit on that for 10 years. We just 5x that money. That house 10 years ago that we bought for $1 million, now we have $5 million in Solana holdings. So there's a lot of things you can do.
That's crazy. I'm thinking about how that affects the market as a whole, the real estate market, right? Because comps are basically gone at that point.
Yeah.
Comps are done. It's basically which token represents this property.
And buyers and sellers can choose that. If I'm a seller, I can say, hey, you know what? I'll take dollars. Let's say I'm selling my house. Let's say $1 million. But I'll also take 9 Bitcoin, which would be 900K today's price. So I'll give you 10% off, Leo, but I want 9 Bitcoin. If I know what I'm doing, I'm like, Bitcoin's going to go to 130 in this next run at least. I'm going to make a lot more than $1 million, right?
Yeah.
And then what if I'm like, hey, I want to take it in XRP or in Solana? Did you know that in Colombia, country of Colombia right now you can take the title of your house, the deed, and put it on the XRP's blockchain?
Really?
Yep. It's not yet where I can go buy and sell.
Okay.
But I can verify that I own this property in the country of Colombia right now on the XRPL.
Can we do that here?
Not yet. Crazy. Hasn't even happened here yet in the US.
And not one blockchain.
No, I haven't seen it.
That's
I haven't
crazy.
seen it. To verify the deed of your house,
Yeah.
which is very important.
Extremely.
Especially if people have two different last names, father and son or mother and son or whatever.
Right.
That could definitely have to go to court. You avoid all that. If it's just on the blockchain from day one with the signature, with the seed phrase maybe. Whoever has the seed phrase to this property, that's how you show the proof of ownership. That's, I think, a 5-10 year game I want to be in crypto at least.
It's almost like America is watching all these countries, El Salvador,
Yeah.
Colombia,
Yeah.
seeing how they're doing it, probably
Yeah.
even helping in the back end,
Yeah.
as a
think-
guinea pig.
And it's like some countries have been super against it. Germany had what did they have? Germany had a lot of Bitcoin, and at $56,000 a couple months ago, they sold all their Bitcoin because they had to. That was the last low. It was right before the election, and then Bitcoin. If they would have held to today's price, I think they would have had like hundreds of billions of dollars more. But they sold at 56K. Their holdings as a country.
That's crazy.
The U.S. is holding Bitcoin. All the Silk Road Bitcoin, they're holding it. Why haven't they sold it yet?
Oh, the Silk Road Bitcoin.
Yeah, whoever the CIA, whoever took all that Bitcoin was
That's
thousands and thousands,
crazy.
and they're holding it. And if Trump does something with the Federal Reserve and they back the dollar,
They
with
robbed
Bitcoin,
it, right? They took that
they
shit for
robbed them.
free.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
fucking robbed it.
If Mount Gox, GOX, that was the exchange where all that Bitcoin was at.
Yeah.
They took all that stuff too. So
That's
it could be
crazy.
interesting. Let them back the dollar of Bitcoin and watch how this thing goes crazy. States are already doing the reserves.
Yes.
They're already building reserves. That's at a state level. If they do that at a federal level, hold on tight. Should get interesting.
Do you have your own podcast?
I had it. I got inconsistent. Podcast, no. Not doing that right now. I got free books, courses, all that stuff.
You're just so knowledgeable.
Thanks, bro. Maybe I'll bring it back. We did like 20 episodes, and then I went to Europe for like a lot of last year, 2023.
You do lives though, right? You do a lot of lives.
Yeah, I do a
see
lot of lives. YouTube
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
A lot of YouTube stuff.
That's cool.
So
That's cool.
kind of like a podcast,
Yeah, a little bit.
Similar.
Man, you have so much knowledge.
Appreciate that, bro.
I appreciate you coming and sharing.
Of course.
That was like a crash course lesson.
We could talk crypto for days.
For days.
There's so many lanes.
Yeah.
And feels like every couple months more lanes get added to this. And but starting point, get educated, get an exchange, right? Start an exchange, start an account, get some wallets like a MetaMask for ETH, Phantom for Solana, and get a ledger. And then super simple, anybody listening can create a budget. I'm a teacher, I'm a fireman, whatever your profession is in your life, set a budget. How much can you afford to lose investing every week or bi-weekly?
Right.
$50, $10. Start somewhere and build that. Every time the market drops, you keep taking that nest egg that you're building and you're putting it into the market. And if the market's really high, okay, because you're not going to want to do that when the market's like euphoric.
Right.
You just save that money. That's the problem, bro. People save money and they just spend it on dumb stuff. I was saving money in 2021, even when the market was crashing, and I was like, I'm going to wait, keep stacking. And when I feel like we're getting closer to the bottom, I'm going to deploy that capital. I'm not buying all the way on the bloody way down.
Right.
I'm looking just for that zone, that massive fear. And FTX, the banks, all of those signs were that 16K to like 30K Bitcoin. That level we DCA'd. And it took years. But 2 years to get the results, what they are now, it's like, you're going to go work 40 years for somebody else. You're not going to question anything.
Right. Be patient.
Be patient in this space. Like, this is still a new space.
What is it? Diamond hands, they call it?
Diamond hands. Like, you lose if you sell. Or the coin goes to zero. But if you're playing the meme coin game, yeah, a lot of your coins are going to go to zero.
Yeah.
But if you're playing like a foundational, like understanding low cap, mid cap, main cap, understanding technology, I think we're in a interesting time in human history. I think it's the easiest time to become successful in whatever term
Right.
hits the listeners.
Is your portfolio all crypto, or are you
No, I
diversified?
have stocks. I got into stocks a couple years ago after COVID because I saw like just the craziest levels we haven't seen in years. Like, you know, I would take a look at like a Walgreens right now. It's at a 1996 low. Like, you know, it's
Wow.
you have a lot of discounts. And right now, a lot of the markets are returning to the COVID crash candle. So whenever you see a big crash, usually it goes down fast and then it goes higher. If it returns to that crash level, just pay attention and watch that level. Crashes are literally the easiest thing to...
Is that things going back to normal, sort of?
Yeah, it's like a rebalanced market.
Right.
Market rebalance itself. Some of the plays, like, you know, Peloton, that bike company?
Yep.
They launched, right, pre-COVID.
Yep.
COVID happens, they boom. 178 a share. Market goes all the way to $2. And then some things that we look at on the charts, like volume. If you're a trader, go look at PTON, that's the ticker. Massive spikes in volume. Smart money's getting in about $2.50 to $3. I send it out to a lot of my different communities. We take positions around 3. I actually took a stock option play on that one, and it runs, right now it's at 10, about 10.
Okay.
In 4 months. But it was like 2 years of just dying. They disappear, right? People think it's a stupid company.
Yeah.
Guess who they call to refinance their debt? They call JP Morgan. JP Morgan approves, refinance the debt. They figure it out. They're bringing new people in. Now they're doing these commercials with like JJ Watt and all these football players.
Yeah, I saw that.
And now it's like, dang, now they might be coming back. So you just look for certain things in the market. Nobody's a perfect trader. I've taken losses. I took a 6-figure loss in my in a trade that I invested in, a portfolio thing that I invested in 2021, 100-something thousand, gone. I knew the risk to reward. It was either I lose 100 or I make 3. I'll take the risk to reward on that. Lost. Got it back in other places.
That hurt?
Looking back, sure. In the moment, sure. But at that moment, like, you have a decision to
Right.
make.
Right.
Do you quit? And that was a percentage of my portfolio. It wasn't everything, obviously. But I just don't like, Leo, when people talk about only their wins. And in crypto, especially
It's a
where
lot
we
of
live,
losses.
man, yeah. Show me the losses. So like everybody has them, but people only post what their wins and all that stuff. Especially the materialistic place we live in, Miami. Everybody's they have to flex. If you don't flex it, you don't have it. I think that's the stupidest thing in the world.
I agree.
But if that's how you want to live your life.
Look at
that's cool.
Zuck, plain T-shirt.
Man, it's just be discreet. Like, I don't want attention. Like, I don't want the attention that some people want. You know, I don't want that. I don't want that.
You want to make an impact.
Exactly. And through that, money's going to show up.
For sure.
You don't have to worry about that.
Yeah.
Right? I heard a quote that says, if you're chasing something, it's something on the other side is running away from you. Mm-hmm. You know, chase money, it runs away. Chase a girl or guy, they're probably running away. Don't do that.
Exactly.
Just
ignore it.
Yeah, Jim Rohn says, become an attractive person.
Yes.
Just become attractive.
The moment you ignore that girl, she's going to come crawling back to you.
I got to take some notes here on this.
Man, I appreciate you coming.
For sure.
It's been an amazing conversation.
Do it again.
I really hope that you guys are able to take notes, because Mike dropped a lot of really, really, really good information that you're not going to find anywhere else. Mike, tell the people your IG, your website, your course, your free books.
Yeah, just
where
two
can they
things.
find you?
My Instagram is DeFi Mike, DEFI, Mike Sotero. And then just my website has all the stuff, MikeSotero.com. All the books, courses, all that stuff is free. I do not believe in selling courses. All my ebooks are there for free. I just dropped a brand new book, 7 days on the 1st of the month, called The Investor's Compass.
Nice.
Just giving people a direction with investing. A lot of the stuff we talked about, I cover in that. So how to build your budget, how to understand crypto and stocks. And it's a book I wrote.
That's great.
From what I wanted to read. I wish I could have read when I was 18. When I got into entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
Making dumb decisions. So, MikeSotero.com. I
Good
appreciate
for you,
the invitation,
man.
man. On this, it's been
I
a lot of fun.
appreciate you coming and spitting some fire.
I appreciate that.
Thank you,
Run it back.
man. Guys, go follow Mike. Go get his new book. Like, subscribe, hit that bell notification, and we'll see you guys next time.